We go, guys. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. We are live. It is Monday night, and tonight is a special, special night. For those of you who don't know the gentleman on the top of the screen, I'm going to have them introduce themselves, and then we'll talk about why this night is just an incredibly special night that we all are just feeling anxious and a flutter about. Mr. Jani, can you please introduce yourself since you are on the left side?
What up? My name is Jason Jani, and I'm pumped to be here.
Wow, that come on, give us some of your street cred. You know why you are such a big star that you're in Iowa tonight in the middle of winter.
Well, I'm here in Iowa with my good friends over here as we're putting together some of the production stuff for Mobile Beat. This year, I will be the onstage performance DJ and also one of the entertainment. I guess the entertainment director is my role for the upcoming Mobile Beat 2016 show.
Awesome.
So a lot to talk about tonight.
Awesome. Jake.
My name is Jake Feldman. I'm the production director for Mobile Beat. Been for about 9-10 years or so, and just having fun hanging out with these guys, planning the show here.
Nice. And Mr. Brech.
Jeremy Brech, DJ Jer, I guess is what everybody knows me as, but I just love Iowa, so I thought I'd make the trip and check it all out. It's beautiful out here. I think we hit -5 today, which is lovely. No, I get to work on kind of the back of the stage, calling the shots and just making sure everything's running smooth and just kind of creating lighting design with Chauvet DJ and just having a blast putting it all together.
And he's running for president.
He is.
Yeah. Actually, we were in our planning session. A couple people came in the room and they're like, "Are you guys running for president here? What's going on?" So, we're thinking about it. We might actually probably have a good chance. We're in Iowa, so.
I mean, you're there. You're campaigning at the proper time. So
exactly.
So of course, since we're all doing our social media thing, we have to make sure we're hitting our different pages and such. For those of you out there watching, we're going live with the crew from Mobile Beat Las Vegas 2016. Go to discjockeynews.com/live, and you're going to see tonight's show with Jason Jani, Jake Feldman, Jeremy Brech, Ryan Berger, and Mike Buonaccorso. We'll be on live right now. That's Instagram, ladies and gentlemen.
Make sure you share it. Share it with your friends, because if they didn't get to see it now, they can watch it later on YouTube. So share the link.
On the cool thing, especially for all the first timers, is going to be, the ins and outs of the show and everything that they need. Because, when I started going to these things, no one ever told me, the cool things to do or the things that I definitely needed to check out or, the people that I needed to talk to improve my business. So here it is.
Well, the cool things to do in Vegas would probably put you in jail. So the cool things you should be doing at the expos, that's, I think, what we're trying to get at.
No. The cool things to do at the expo is the networking, to go hang out with guys like Jason and yourself and Jay, where you can sit down, you can talk, and you can share ideas and steal their world wrestling belt. So, you can be.
It's back there. I'll put it on later. Don't worry.
Nice. Looking forward to that. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching there, we've already got a handful of people who have made it into the chat room. If you're watching it on djntv.com, you can click in the lower right-hand corner on the YouTube insignia on the video player. That'll take you out to the YouTube page where you can go and you can actually ask questions, because we're going to spend this first about half hour or so kind of answering some questions, talking about, some memories of past Mobile Beat shows and just kind of wrap it a little bit here. Then at 8 o'clock is when Ryan and Mike are going to join us, and we're going to really talk about, as Jake was saying, how to get the most out of this year's show, because this is a big year, the big show. But I don't want to get into too much of that now, guys. Let's kind of look back. Look back at some of the first or the early memories from your experience with the Mobile Beat shows. Jeremy, you and I have had this conversation in the past where we've talked about some of our early memories from the show. Can you share one of those with us?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I remember when I went for the first time, it was more of that, wow, this is so cool, seeing so many DJs in one show. And I mean, you saw people visiting and networking, and you saw some great presenters. And I think we've got an awesome lineup this year as well. But you always look back at your first Mobile Beat show, which I know these are things that we're going to be talking about later tonight, but you don't know what is all really involved in that show. I remember the expo floor, walking through there and seeing that gear that you only see online. You can actually go and touch those products and look at those products and experience them live. And I think those were some of the things that I always appreciated when when I went to the show floor was, talking to people, getting their thoughts, getting the specs, and, finding out, is this the right gear for me? So I always thought that was valuable. But, the biggest thing is just meeting people. And you talked a little bit about it. Going in the halls, that's where the true education is at. And I think that's what people don't take away from these shows, which they should be. You can learn a lot from the stage, but it's in those hallways where you really create friendships, you create relationships, and you create great education, because now you start networking with those people outside of the show. So there's a lot of great things. And like I said, I'll never forget my first show. And I think this show is probably going to top all the shows that I've ever been to. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to this year, because the crew's been putting a lot of time and a lot of effort into that. Now, Jake, you've got kind of a behind the scenes view of the shows. I mean, you've been how many shows have you worked on now?
10. So this will be my 10th one coming up here. So I started as soon as Pro DJ Publishing, which was what the company was formerly known as. I started as soon as they purchased Mobile Beat. And so this will be the 10th one coming up. So seen a lot of things, know a lot of the back end stuff with things, but I think this show, in terms of, the way that we're putting it together, will be a celebration of the past and a nod and a wink towards the future, because it's all about, last year was a celebration of the mobile DJ, but this year I'm looking forward to it. And I think probably some great, awesome memories from everybody will be made, because it sounds like a lot of people are coming back that haven't been back for a couple of years maybe. And so you'll see a lot of old faces and a lot of new faces. And I'm really looking forward to this year.
And Jake, he actually started this 10 years ago, he said. So he started when he was like 16 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still a young pup. So been doing this for a long time.
Jake, I want to, before we jump over to Jason, I want you to share one of the, sure you've got some little stories from behind the scenes that most people don't know. Sure. Just kind of a fun little story that no one really knows beyond those people behind the scenes. Can you share one of those with us?
Okay. Well, probably the fact that I was the one who Freedom Williams stole the bottle of liquor from. So he was having, the funny thing is, he's having a completely coherent conversation backstage, like completely coherent, like about politics and things. Of all things you would never expect this guy to be talking about, right? And then we walk into the stage and he's just belligerent. So I don't know what kind of clicked on there. A lot of people said it was an act, but I don't think it was. I think basically the Jack Daniels caught up with him, and he went on a cursing spree not seen since probably Chevy Chase and Christmas Vacation.
Yep, I remember that. That was an exceptional night with that one.
Yeah,
that was great. Let's see. I'm trying to get Mike a link here. Where is he? There he is. Jason, memories.
Yes, sir.
Memories. What do you got for us, man?
You know what? This show is kind of its own animal, and I think what's really cool about Mobile Beat, which makes it a little bit different than I guess some of the other shows, is very content focused, right? So you can kind of learn from a bunch of different people in the industry and even outside the industry. I think you kind of get what you make of you take what you make of the show, right? So some of my best memories would be connecting with people that have now become some of my best friends in the business. Whether it was flying out and talking business on a plane, I years ago, and actually still to this day, I usually like to fly out with Marcello and Mike Walter, and we just like literally talk the entire plane ride out, because it's the only time you can sit with someone for 5 hours and the conversation is just like focused. And I mean, we've had so many cool things, from conversations in the hallway to the morning walks where everyone gets together and we do those grueling things down the strip in the past, to the conversations in the hallway, to the nightlife events and seeing the talent and listening to other DJs and just seeing all the things Las Vegas has to offer. I mean, there's been so many people that I've gotten to know at Mobile Beat that I now have, what I would consider friendships with, like Toad from Cincinnati, and just I could go on and name drop kind of like the industry's who's who, because over the years you just become friendly with these people that you see online and you're able to connect with, and you're all there to learn and to better yourselves. And I think it's a great it's a great opportunity to do that. This year is gonna bring the fire for that, and I think we have some really cool things for everyone, whether it's in the morning, in the afternoon, if it's content, if it's entertainment, if it's visuals, production, the show floor. I mean, we're hitting this show from every angle, the best of our ability. So there's gonna be a lot for this year, and I'm super pumped for it.
Yeah, for sure. Last year was an incredible move. Step forward. I don't know how you would describe it, because I don't want to say that make it sound like things that have been done in the past have been bad, but it was just so much of upping the game last year, and to come into a new facility with the beauty of the remodel that they've done there, it's going to be an exciting show. Let's talk. We got a few more minutes here before Mike and Ryan jump in with us. Let's talk a little bit about, for those people who are on the fence, they aren't, they've never been to a show and they are not sure if they should make the investment to come down. What would be your advice to them, or your suggestion to them for why they should invest in themselves to come to the show? And Jake, I'm going to start with you right in the middle, and then we'll bounce out to the other guys. What would someone who's never been there?
I've got an example for you. Okay, so a lot of people follow Byron Gunter on Facebook. A lot of people are friends of his, and a lot of people follow him not only because he has somewhat funny and offensive comments sometimes, but also because he's taken his business and really blown it up over the last few years. And I would say probably the catalyst to that probably was him coming out to his first DJ show, because before he was very defensive of his $500 DJ company, which is what it is, but he was very defensive of it, very set in his ways and everything like that. But it was very cool for him to be kind of accepted, because before he was kind of a $500 villain on the internet. People were saying, bottom feeder, everything like that. But he owned it, and then he came out and he met everybody, and everybody really likes the guy because he's a really nice guy and he's a great guy, and they put a face with a name. And his business since then, just following him on Facebook, it looks like he's doing an awesome job. He moved into an office. He's, bought a house. He's doing all sorts of great stuff with his business that, just blew it up from just being, a guy that was just doing it on the side.
And I would be surprised, because I've heard similar stories to that, Jake, that before he went, he was probably sitting there and thinking, this is an investment. I'm never going to get this money back. I'm
right.
And that's what I think a lot of people look at this as. I mean, because, Jason, when you guys are flying from the East Coast, you're talking, that's not a cheap flight. And you put that investment, and that's a tough thing. So what would your words of advice be?
You kind of have to look at it this way. Where else in this world can you go for 4 days and connect with over 1,000 DJs from literally every continent, for the most part, is there?
Yeah.
Where can you go and learn? Where can you go and see the newest toys? You're in Las Vegas, which is, in my opinion, the entertainment capital of the world. From a production, a nightlife, and a talent perspective, that's it. I don't even know what else I would need to say to sell it, but you have educational content, you have activities, you have some surprise features, which we'll talk about maybe later or maybe not. And you're going to see some things that might challenge your ability to grasp what you are. In this business, I feel like sometimes people get into their own rut, they get into their own groove, and then they kind of stay in that groove. They don't really go outside their comfort zone. This is an opportunity to do that and to learn from people and to connect with people that, one, could be just as good, if not better, could be larger or smaller. You can mentor someone. You can do so many different things because there's so many people there at so many different levels of their career, whether it's a side job, a full-time career, an established company, a solo operator, whatever the titles are, they're all here, one place, one time. And then, again, when you put that all together with production, technology, talent, you put it together with incredible rock star staff of presenters and people that are going to be teaching and explaining, and the side seminars. I mean, there's no other place anywhere like this.
For sure. Jeremy, I want to take a little bit different angle with yours. You are a multi-system owner. You have staff that work with you. For someone who has some staff and they're debating if it would be something of value to bring their manager out, I would like you to address that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, sure. So, and you made me change my subject, but I really had something good that I could have added to theirs. So,
okay, fine. Then add that and then take off on my next one. Sorry.
I was just going to say, you don't know what you don't know. And if you say, well, conferences won't do anything for me, or I can get all this stuff off the internet, that's not true. And now I'm going to transition into what you asked me. So I think it's important that, not just myself go to these type of conferences, but I've always taken staff to all of my conferences because I want them to start networking with other people so they can learn not just from me as the business owner, but they can learn from all these people across the country. I don't want them to be me. I want them to be the best that they can be. And they're going to learn from people down in Texas, Australia. I mean, they're going to learn from so many different people. And I think that's the important part when it comes to your staff. And if you've been to a conference before and you're like, well, I didn't get much out of the conference. I encourage you to try this one more time. If you've never gone to a conference, this is the conference that will make you say, I need to start going to conferences. And I think, again, the value, like what Jason said and what Jake said, the value that we're bringing, I mean, a ticket price of, what is it, $250? Mm-hmm. $250, and you have all of this content given to you. I mean, there's nothing more valuable than what the show is going to bring to you. So again, if you're on the fence or you don't know, take that leap. And if you didn't like it, don't come back. If you do, we'll see you in 2017.
And while you were talking and sharing your words of wisdom, the one and only Michael Buonaccorso came on to the screen. Good evening, Mike.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, see you. Your lighting looks good.
Awesome, great.
We're just kind of sharing some ideas and sharing some thoughts for those who are out there. We just kind of wrapped up a little bit, for the people who are wondering about, gosh, should I make the investment? Should I make that trip and go down there? Now, you have been there, of course, since the beginning. You were the man behind this right from the beginning. I'd like you to kind of address that because you've had people throw this question out too of, can I get my investment out of the show? How would you address that if somebody would ask you a question like that?
Well, it's not a question. I mean, there's no doubt you can, because just from the pure economics of it, I mean, over the years, I mean, the cost that we charge, the fees for the passes are so out of proportion with what other shows in the industry and in general charge that it's almost a steal to come out there for those prices. I mean, you will not find too many shows in Vegas that you can get into for our prices and get that kind of value. It's always been a challenge from the start, but we've went forward with it and continue to. But it certainly is worth it. I can't imagine unless somebody had a gambling addiction or something and lost all the money at the tables. And then, yeah, of course, they'll be out at the end of the day. But other than that, there's no doubt. There's no downside. I can't think of one downside. And as we're going to get into shortly, for those of those that have never attended before, we're actually going as far as to have a specific hour just dedicated before the show starts to being right there and giving some tips.
Yeah, that's. Oops. Now the meetings are starting to go. Yeah, that's going to be kind of a cool thing. It's the addition to that, and we don't want to talk about that too much before we get to 8 o'clock, because that's something we'll talk after 8 when the rest of the folks are going to be coming on and such. You guys you've done a lot of different, Mike. You've been at a lot of different places with the show. What different venues? Now we've had this discussion. I think when Ron Ruth and I were talking about it, we were trying to remember all the different places Mobile Beat has been in Las Vegas. So kind of walk us through where you guys have been.
Well, you have to understand that I started this show with before the internet, with a phone book and no connections whatsoever, except for actually there was one DJ I knew in Vegas, so I figured I'd give him a call. And it was quite a challenge to that first year, because in the first place, I never realized how much I didn't know until after that first year. I mean, I had picked an off-strip, non-casino, all-suite hotel, which is basically the worst possible location. That was the Crown Plaza in 1997. From there, we moved to the Tropicana the first time, and we're quite successful there for a few years. After the second year, which was undoubtedly my worst experience at a show, because I had no clue what I was doing, and I found out really quickly in a larger venue. I mean, it was bad enough in '97, but '98 just
no.
I mean, it was. I mean, there was just things I can remember my biggest impression of '98 was the fact of the matter is that we had the first seminar like at 8:30 and registration was open at 8. Now, how I expected to get 1,000 people through the registration in 30 minutes, I have no idea. But I remember specifically going to that little coffee stand at the Trop, and the line was out into the parking lot, and I had 30 minutes to get those people in there for this first seminar. And then, over the time, we evolved to the day before, and now it's another day before. So all of those things came with the School of Hard Knocks. So after the Tropicana came to the point where they said they were going to tear down the pavilion, which was where we were having the show, they said, you'll have to find another place. What ended up happening on that was interesting because 9/11 came along and everything froze at that time. All their plans to go forward with the new Tropicana were just put on hold. And they said, "You want to come back?" And I said, "No, we've already booked another place. So we'll see you." So from that point, we went to the Stardust, spent 2 or 3 years there, only to find out that they were going to close. At the time, it was a Boyd property that referred us to another Boyd property, which lasted right about the time Ryan came along, which was 2006, over at the South Point, which was way up the road. Everybody enjoyed that, and but it was a lot of problems out down there that we realized that it was not the setup we needed for a couple of reasons. Number one is they had booked the place, they had booked our event before the hotel actually opened. They were not aware of what we were going to do there and realized that it was like trying to get an elephant through a doorway. I mean, it was like we had freight problems and the second floor was a nightmare. And it was just, so we never had a show there again. We headed back out and the search led us to the Riviera, which was our last and most recent stop. And of course, they tore that down eventually. So, I mean, I recently was at a conference for show producers, and I said, yeah, we've had the show there for 19 years now, and every place that we have has been torn down except for one. So we just kept going around in this Ferris wheel. So they said, oh, you were, so they named off everyone, but they thought we were also at the Frontier because that's gone. I said, no, that's one we didn't have, but, there's a parking lot there. So, but now we're back at the Trop, the new Trop, the original Trop that they were going to have 2001. It went forward eventually, and it is not the same hotel we were at that time. It's awesome. It's a nice place.
So I haven't been very far into the Tropicana. Lori and I did walk through the kind of the casino area and just saw that, yeah, as you say, it's a nice place, clean, just a world different than what it was when we were the last time. What other kind of changes are people going to notice if they were there back in the early 2000s?
Well, they took that dumb song out of the elevator that says the where Vegas, I can't remember, but it drove people crazy. I don't know what. Do you remember that?
I'm sure if we heard it,
winners play and players win or something. It just was. It drove you crazy, and that's gone. So for what it's worth, that's missing. The pavilion that I'm referring to actually was interesting, an interesting structure, because we're back in the pavilion, but it is not at all looking like the same place. It was originally built when tennis was a big thing, and Bobby Jean King played Billy Everett there, or something like that, way back when, and they had handball courts in the one area. And then they decided that tennis kind of went down the tubes, so they decided to have it as a kind of a cow barnish kind of a place. That ended, and then for a few years they decided what to do with that, so they put in a bunch of fun exhibits in there, like the Titanic, and for a while down there they had the Mafia Museum, and they had a bunch of odd various some of those, you pay $10 at the door to wander around exhibits there.
Sure. Then
the new manager took over again and completely gutted it. And now it is the same structure, but it bears absolutely no resemblance to that original tennis court, which it still looked like when we were there the first time.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that. It looked like a big field house back there.
Yeah, right.
Very much so. Ryan, you are there. Hello.
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
We can. You got a mic on you?
Yes, I do. Hold on.
It's just you're sounding kind of, I don't know, almost muffled a little bit.
Hold on a second. Let me play. Let's see. External microphone.
Just making sure you're on the right. But ladies and gentlemen, since we have the whole team here tonight, we're going to get into tonight's show, which was talking about how to make the most of your experience at Mobile Beat Las Vegas 2016. A lot of us, as we were talking about earlier, this is maybe our first time, our second time, or even maybe your fifth time, and you've just never, you've always felt like you want to take advantage of more opportunity. Well, these are the people who are putting it together, and they know behind the scenes, they know in front of the scenes, they've talked to people for years. They're the ones who are going to be able to help us get the most out of the experience.
Cool. You guys
Ryan.
been having a lot of fun without me, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. We haven't brought the wrestling belt out again for a while, and I can see Jason's a little itchy to get that thing out and not to come off that top rope.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be his Superfly. He's gonna be a Jimmy.
Superfly Jani.
Yeah, it'll come right off the top. So let's start it out. Someone who's coming for the first time. There's always a nice group of people who are coming for the very first time. Let's kind of work our way around and just each one of you give a thought or two on what is something that someone who's coming for the first time should do to be ready for the event. And Ryan, since you are the last one here, you're going to start first. We're putting you in a hot seat.
Okay. Oh, great. Let's see. Be open to talking to everybody. Introduce yourself to people. You will find that a lot of people are very open to talking with people, but sometimes, even though we're forward DJs, we are able to command the stage, we don't step up and talk to other people. Be that forward person that goes up and introduce yourself, tell them where you're from, tell them what your specialties are, get the word around. And the big thing with that is make sure to come in on Sunday. So you're not just blitzing in at noon, showing up for the first seminar and rolling from there.
Good advice. Mike, we'll let you go next.
It's interesting, John. As you know, I'm kind of like a historian of sorts, and I'll give it
the Godfather.
I'll put a little different spin on this. It's not so much about the first time; it's about the second time. And here's why I say this. One of the things that I found interesting over the course of 20 years is, generally speaking, in the beginning, we ask the crowd usually, "How many of you are here for your first time?" And generally speaking, about 25% may raise their hand. Now, the funny part is, if you do it the next year, the same thing will happen, which is interesting because the whole thing is, well, who didn't come back? Because there should be a significant increase of at least, a consistent 10% of people continuing to come back. So I think one of the things that we have to also show people is, all right, you've made it out here. Don't make this a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, experience here where you're here for the first time because everybody always told you should come here. I've done it. It's off my bucket list, and it's like, now I'll never come back again. I suppose that happens at some people at some point. I know there are a lot of people coming this year who have told me to my face, that Mike, this is going to be our last show. But it's for obvious reasons. They're like 80 years old, so they've been here since they were 60. But in retrospect, I think the other thing we're trying to impress upon people is to maybe not come every year, but try to get out here every couple of years, 2-3 times a decade. So that's my takeaway from that.
Yeah, I think that actually makes a really good point, Mike, and I can speak to that. My first year, I think there was just so much going on and your head spinning that you really can't absorb as much as you can in year 2 and year 3. I think that would be a really good point. Really good point. Gentlemen, Jason, we're going to work right across. Jason, Jake, and Jeremy, you're last. That means that they're going to take all of your ideas and you're going to have to come up with something like way out in left field. Jason.
I will.
All right. So look, like kind of just to echo what you just said, John, when you first come, your first time attending Mobile Beat, there's a lot coming from every different direction. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of buzz. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of activities. There's a lot of stuff. My very quick advice is this. Everywhere you go, anyone you speak to, any seminar you attend, any session you visit, anytime you go into the show floor, try to take away one nugget. There are nuggets to be had everywhere. And if you don't connect with someone that's speaking, look around at the production. Look how the staging is done. Look at the advertising. Las Vegas and the Mobile Beat show in and of itself is just a universe of opportunity. You have to have your eyes open, have your ears open, do what Ryan said, connect with as many people as you can, but look for the nugget. Look for something that you can take away that's tangible, that you can put into play every time you leave your room and attend something there. I mean, the days are stacked with activities, with incredible people from all over the place. So just one takeaway every time you leave your room or you visit something. I think that's something that's obtainable for the first timers.
Very good. Jake.
My takeaway would be probably to make sure that you, well, number one, introduce yourself to people, but number two, try to have dinner with a different DJ or a different person every single night. So probably make sure that you, and then ask them as much questions as you can. So I have a friend that always says that he wants to be at the bottom of his friend pool. So what that means is that he wants to be the least smartened up person around him on what he does, right? And so he could always learn from all his friends and all the people that he meets, right? You never want to be at the top of your friend pool that you can't learn from anybody, right? So that's my one takeaway. Try to invite people at least once a day out to dinner and or have lunch with them and you know, pick their brain.
Good advice. Very good advice. Jeremy, you're wrapping it up.
Yeah, I've got like 6 things that I want to share.
Great.
No, the show really, it is what you make of it. And I remember I look back and there were shows that I was in every seminar every year, I was in every seminar that year, and I really took away some great information. I went back and I was inspired in my business. I was ready to go. And then there were years it's like, you know what, I'm going to skip this one. Let's go walk the strip. Let's go do this. Let's go to a show tonight. And, you know, you don't focus on the show, which you're supposed to do those other activities as well. But you need to stay focused in the show. There's so much going on, like Jason said. You know, there's so much activity, and you really just need to soak it all in. And again, if you're going there to party, that's what you're going to get from the show. If you're there to educate yourself, that's what you're going to get from the show. And I mean, you look at the younger people, and this is going out to all the younger DJs who are watching this, who are, like you said, on the fence. You look at some of the people who have gone to these shows for years and years. People are making businesses out of this hobby, and they're making good money. You know, you have companies that are making $4,000 to $10,000 a night DJing. And if you want to get away from that, I'm a hobbyist doing this for $400, you know, there's a reason these guys are showing up at these conferences, because this is how they're making themselves better. And I think that's a great takeaway from anybody.
Yeah, I definitely think so. You know, and you guys have talked a little bit about you know, learning from other people and having conversations and introducing yourself, what have you. And I think one of the parts that I have done when I have done that is the idea of kind of, Ryan, you mentioned this also, making notes. Is I have talked to people and gone and spent some time talking to, you know, Jeremy Brech at times where we had a dinner and we talked about different aspects of business. And I went back to the room and I wrote some of the notes down from what we talked about, and just keeping notes not only from the seminars but your conversations. And sometimes it's, you know, writing things on the back of business cards, what have you. But there's so much. It's like drinking from a fire hydrant. Really, it is. Good stuff.
John, just one thing. I mean, like this year, what's really cool that I think everyone that's a first timer, you know, attending this conference needs to do is download the app like right away. Ryan can talk about it, but that's going to be like the hub of information. Now, if you haven't yet been to the show and you don't know who any of us are, go on the app, look at the people that are going to be and check out like some of the companies, check out like the work that they do and take notes. Go out of your way to grab that. Oh, there's my profile.
Oh, hang on. We got to go back to full screen. There we are.
I like that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well,
add me on the app and Snapchat, Instagram, and check out some of the stuff I do. And if you see me and you have a question or I can help you, come up and say hello. Like, I want to meet everyone, especially if it's your first time here. I mean, the app is just an insane business tool that these guys can talk about and Ryan can really go into. I mean, just in terms of information, I mean, it's like the hub, the epicenter, the hub of what's going to be going on. And already there's guys on the app constantly, and it's awesome. And it's going to be a huge tool for this coming Mobile Beat.
It's going to be huge.
You know, Jason's got a good point. Get to know people now. So that way, when you get to the show, it's like you've been friends forever and you can keep up those conversations, or you can say, you know what, I saw your Facebook page and you had some really cool things that you did back in October. Tell me how you did that. So instead of backtracking, now you have all those questions ready for them when you can actually see people face to face.
Yep, I've been stalking you on the Facebook.
We're all connected. I mean, everyone's in the forums and the different groups and the different this and the different that, and you follow the hashtag, you do this, send a message, connect, and get in touch there. It'll make the week, especially if you're there by yourself for the first time, so much more enjoyable. If you can go through it with someone, maybe that's in the same, kind of like on the same path as you, and at least in a relative space, so to speak.
If I could speak up to the app stuff just a little bit, we'll cover it more in detail. But there are people having conversations in the app right now, talking back and forth, asking questions about things. You're welcome to do that in plenty of the other spots. But at the same time, if you want to, I mean, one gentleman I spoke with that stopped by the office, a local DJ that's come to the show before, was asking, well, if I go, I need to save a little bit of money on a hotel room. Can you help me find someone to room with? Well, that's a perfect thing to stir up conversation in the next month or two. Actually, we've got just under 2 months, and find a roommate that way. So we're going to be directing more conversation directly to the app, and you can be set that way.
Very cool. Jason, before I want to dig into the app more, Ryan, but let's not jump there. Jason, you mentioned something when you were talking about, maybe I just pulled this out of your conversation, but the idea that sometimes you're a little bit intimidated or a little bit afraid to go and introduce yourself to people or come up and talk to people the first time. For those who are out there and are feeling that, because that's a real. I mean, somebody even posted in the chat board, don't be afraid to approach and chat with anyone. But sometimes they see someone like yourself who's up on the stage, or they see Jeremy who's up there, or even Mike and Ryan. I mean, you guys are kind of well known in the industry. For the people who are like intimidated by that, what kind of advice or thoughts can you guys share with them?
Just be natural, be you. I mean, we're all there for the same reason in different respects, right? Like, you got to just look around and make friends. I mean, this world and this industry is all about connections, and we're all tied together. So my advice, bring your business cards, smile every day, connect on the social parts of the show, not just the content driven parts of the show. And when the time is right, if you see, an opportunity, whether it's going to the restroom, walking outside to the takeover, walking down to the DigiGames party, coming into the nightlife event with Red Boo and Vic, I mean, just say hello. I mean, that's what it's all about. During the breaks, during the introduction, the networking introduction segments of the day. I mean, there's so many opportunities, or at dinner or in the evening sometime. I mean, there's so many opportunities to connect. I mean, everyone in this on this page is all accessible for everyone. Yes.
And I would imagine it's going to be like your orientation at college. The people that are going to be in this first timer seminar on Monday are probably going to like hang together, maybe during their first mobile beat like here, and then maybe probably become friends for years off of this.
Very much so. I could definitely see that, because I think there was a level of that newcomer camaraderie that really develops quickly when the hands go up and people are like, oh yeah, there's a couple of husband and wife over there, and I can go talk to them because they're in the same boat I am.
Sure. We've all been in that position where, I remember, again, going back, we talk about the history, talk about your first mobile beat or your memories of mobile beat. I remember being that person sitting in that chair, looking around like, I know none of these people, being scared to death. And I think Mike is working with Dave Tournier. I believe you guys are working on a first timers conference, and telling people, don't be shy, get out there. And like the guys said, shake hands, pass business cards. Don't be intimidated by anybody, because we all do the same thing. We don't do anything different. We just do it at what we know how to do. Like, we know how to do our business. And if you have questions on our business, again, those are the questions to be asking us, because if you want to become better at what you do, the only way to figure those things out is to ask questions to the right people.
Good points. Very good points. The asking question thing, I think, is something that we all really need to remember out there, because we can go and talk about everything we do and talk about our shows, but you learn more by asking than by telling. Ryan, what about for the guys who are maybe intimidated to come in and especially when you've got the speakers up there and they're intimidated to go and introduce themselves? How would you encourage them to?
First of all, are you hearing me okay? I'm
yep.
not coming through. Okay, good. That's much better. Intimidated. Well, yes, there are a couple of people that Red Foo and Taffer that come with their own security people, but everybody else that's there a DJ or was a DJ and are connected to the industry, and you can walk up. Oh, you guys got security?
I got Charlie.
What?
I have Charlie.
Oh, you have Charlie coming along for you? Okay. Well, I have my 18-year-old daughter will be my personal security.
She might be the toughest one there.
Yeah. Well, she's rather strong-willed. Let's call it that. But yeah, I mean, all these people are very approachable. I mean, I did a bunch of calls before last year's conference, calling a ton of DJs, and they said, "Yeah, this is Ryan from Mobile Beat." They were surprised I was calling them. It's like I'm an average DJ that has had some nice success in my own market, but we're all just people. Come up and directly talk to the person. If they're busy with something, ask to have an appointment to sit and talk with them a little bit later. It's not a real big deal for people to come together and converse. I mean, everybody is there to improve themselves. When I have taught classes, when I've done seminars and various things, church-related, scout, whatever, I learn just as much when I'm teaching as when I'm actually being the one taught to. So it is a process for them that when they're up there explaining what they're doing, they're growing in their own business. And as long as everybody views it as that, you're going to learn as much as they're going to learn from you. I learn from everybody that's at these conferences. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that those of us who are we do our videos and we do our things and we're doing the speaking. The things I learn in the hallways from people, we're sharing and asking questions and such. It's astounding. It really is.
John, do you want to talk a little bit about what we're doing on Tuesday and Wednesday morning, or do you have that later in the schedule?
I was going to kind of run through things. We could talk about that, but we can hit that. We can hit
As
that
we go
now.
through the schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, I figured we kind of maybe go through piece by piece of the kind of
That sounds
walk
good.
through, because we've got some folks that are looking and asking questions and sharing some thoughts in the chat room. So we're kind of working through that.
John, the
also.
biggest thing to kind of like remember is everyone, no matter what level they're at, they've all been there before, right? It's always someone's been there for the first time. We've all been there. It's been our first time, whether you've been established or new to the game, and just got to keep that in mind. We're all people, right?
For sure. And I think we've had a few discussions of things to do and things not to do at the shows. I think the things not to do might be a pretty good long list of making sure you get your sleep and different things like that. But there's always some problems that happen at the show. Now, if someone's worried about that and is concerned, that maybe that this is, they can come in and talk to you guys and you guys can help them if there's something that comes up. Is that correct, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, myself, I keep very available there. Michael's around. Dan Walsh, our editor, is always at the registration area. We'll help out any way we can with this stuff. There'll also be other people that you'll see are kind of connected with us, like yourself, John. I mean, you know your way around this stuff. So there's a lot of peer stuff going back and forth. But in the end, it's our business. It's what we dedicate a ton of our lives to is this thing. And we're very proud of what we put together. So if there's a misunderstanding or something minor that we can help take care of, give us a chance. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Let's get to that schedule. Let's start it off. The optimal schedule, if I am going to be making my travel plans, Ryan, let's start it off when we should arrive in Las Vegas to experience the most of Mobile Beat 2016.
Okay, chances are you've got a gig on Saturday night. Hopefully they don't go too long term on you. You get home midnight, 2 a.m. You get to the airport probably 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday with 4 hours of sleep, but that's pretty standard. Get yourself so that you connect in and get into Vegas about 5 o'clock on Sunday. That would be the key. And starting, I believe it's about 7 o'clock or so, we have a networking event where you can come pick up your pass and enjoy some interesting versions of entertainment. Using partyheadphones.com is going to have a event where you can test your technology in silent discos. So that would be the way you can pick up your pass, meet some people that are just getting there, 7 to 9 o'clock, right at the base of the hotel tower at the Tropicana.
Mike was talking a little bit about the badge pickup. Mike, what do people need to pick up their badges this year? Are they going to need to have any kind of a printout, or are they going to have ID? How are you guys going to handle that?
We prefer that people have some kind of proof if they can, but of course, in a perfect world, that would happen, but of course, it usually doesn't. So we usually end up with proper identification, like a license, just confirmation, and it's usually not that formal that, it's not the Mexican border or something where we're checking your passport or anything. It's pretty simple. Unless Ryan has some new plans this year.
No, we're keeping it very simple. The big thing that we did, though, is adding that Sunday night thing so that you do have an opportunity to not have to stand in line for an excessive amount of time.
Very nice.
And those of you that are considering coming to the show but are not doing the full gambit of all the seminars and everything during the day, you're not going to get your pass until Tuesday, but you will be able to get into the Monday night events the social events are going on Monday night, the exhibit and party pass only. But, of course, we want you to be there for the entire spread to get the full pass.
Now, Jeremy, when are you and Jason going to be coming in? And Jake, when are you guys going to be doing all the setup of the seminar room?
Maybe Monday morning. No.
Well, I think last year you guys did an amazing job starting, 2:00 in the morning on Monday? I think we've got that fixed. Yeah,
that gymnastics competition that was that ended at like midnight. It ended at midnight, and they had to tear out. So yeah, we actually got done setting up at like 8 a.m. Yep. So that was fun.
We made sure that's not going to happen this year, though. So yeah, they're going to be starting stuff on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to be flying in on Friday night, get some good rest, and then Saturday we're going to be hitting it hard right away in the morning. Getting stage and just room all figured out. Kind of do those last minute details with the programming and doing sound checks. And then Sunday we have a walkthrough and just make sure scripts are tight and make sure that we go over everything with our hosts for the week, and just make sure that we're all on the same page. My Disc Jockey News article, I talked about, the details that we're really putting into this show this year. I think last year was exciting because it was completely different. And people were always asking, okay, you guys did a great job last year. What are you going to do to raise the bar for this year? And I think it really is just going to be just having that whole show come together and everything just so tight. Because again, like you said, I ran on 2 hours of sleep that night because we got done at 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning. And then I had to be up at 7 o'clock for 8 o'clock walkthroughs. So we're not going to be pressured into, we're not going to have that pressure. So it's going to give us time to really just tweak those the details going into the show. So it's going to be good.
And that's the exact reason why the guys are in Grimes, Iowa at the MBLV headquarters right now, is working this stuff through.
Putting it together.
And I drive from Iowa. So I get in like Thursday night before the show. So
just to make sure you can get there and everything safely arrives and you're ready to roll.
Well, he walked here today, but he's driving to Vegas.
Right.
And the show could operate without me. It can't operate without Jake. So we've got it covered.
Okay, so Sunday, we've gone through Sunday. Sunday, we can pick up our badges. There's a welcome the Silent Disco Sunday night. Now, let's jump into Monday. How does Monday go for us?
Well, a little bit on Sunday and a little bit on Monday, there is some workshops that are separately purchased that are kind of working with us. So check out the mobilebeatlasvegas.com site for that. But the first official activity of ours starts at noon, that first timer session that you can stop into. There'll probably be, I'll bet you 100 people there or something like that want to either reacquaint themselves with what we do at the show, or it literally is their first time at the show.
Let me ask this real quick, because I've actually had this question come up. I know it's a first-timers workshop or a first-timer seminar. Are people who haven't been there for the first time, you kind of mentioned it, Ryan, people who haven't been there for the first time, are they welcome to come to this as well?
Yeah, everybody's welcome. We hope it's overbounding with the amount of people that are in there. But yeah, you're welcome to come on in. Got nothing better to do if you're in there at noon. I mean, there's other things to do in Vegas, but you want to start getting into the groove at noon, meet some people, and maybe even serve as a mentor to some of these people. If you've been there before, maybe you'll find somebody that's from a market near you that you can relate to, and you can help them with the entire week.
There's a Facebook group that I'm the only one that can, of all of us, that can qualify for it.
I know which one that is. That's
okay.
The over 18 crowd.
Something like that. But at any rate, I had posted on there that's one of the group that several of those guys plan to come out. And I told them about this seminar, and I said, I wouldn't mind if you stopped by, because you guys were there, a lot of you, right in the beginning. Okay. So, I mean, guys like Mad Joe Martin, and others. Bob Lindquist will be around, and these are guys that were there in '91. So it should be interesting to have those guys in with the mix.
And 91 would be the year of the first magazine, 97 being the year of the first show. And a lot of these guys were obviously here at the first show, too, back at the Crown Plaza.
Well, Randy Bartlett actually wrote one of the first letters to the editor back around that time. So I still have it, and he knows it.
Is he talking about being 2% better back then or something, and now he's only 1%?
I bet you there wasn't any satire in that letter at all.
No.
Not a bit.
So, okay, going on with things, as of about 1 o'clock, the doors will open. People see Jason jamming up front, the light show with all the Chevy lighting, the EV sound, all that kind of stuff's going to be flying back and forth. And you don't want to miss that. It blew everybody out of the water. I had no idea how far they were going to go with this stuff last year. And I was blown out of the water. So 1:30, the first seminars start up with Matt Radicelli. He's going to do a fantastic job. I've seen some of the material. I know of his successes, so I'm going to be blown away by that. Joe Bunn starting up, and then let's see, moving on, I got to have the schedule from Rob Peters, John Beck, Jason Weldon, with more seminars just stacking up. We have a 10 to 15-minute breaks between some of them, maybe as short as 5 minutes. So it'll give you enough to breathe in between there. Take those quick notes down as to what the nugget is that I pulled out of this event, out of this seminar. Take that nugget in, run to the restroom real quick, come back and jam.
One of the things I want to add into with what Ryan's got, even though that's what everybody sees, again, those presenters and everything, like we talked about, our goal is to create the unexpected this year. And it's going to be one of those shows where if you're out of the room, you might miss something. And it might be that surprise for that day, or, a couple surprises that we have planned throughout the show. I know there's going to be people who are like, oh my gosh, I missed what? Just because, again, we've kind of figured that everyone saw what we did last year, but how do we take it to that next step, and how do we create something unexpected? And the unexpected is the surprising moments. And, there's going to be transitions, there's going to be things, but what's happening in those? And as a wedding DJ, these are things that you should be watching for, because you should be doing these things in your performance at a wedding, at a mitzvah, whatever it is, so when you're transitioning a toast to a cake cutting to a, there's different things that you could be creating, and you could be making opportunities. And that's our goal. And that's why we're here in Iowa. We're creating these things, the unexpected. So that way, again, people are all over social media. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this just happened. We can tell you the opening of the show, you're not going to want to miss.
Yeah, and everything that's tied with the show. I mean, everything we're doing in there is realistic stuff that can be done by DJs. The stuff that we're doing on Sunday night with that silent disco, exactly. It's something you can do as a disc jockey. The stuff that we're doing up on stage is great. Yes, I can't spin and scratch like Jason can, but I can find someone that can. I can put the show around it. I can do that kind of stuff. I can't do the production level lighting that Jeremy can. I can't DJ even as good as Jake can. I'm amazed at everything that happens on these different stuff. So let's see. Yeah, I don't have a wrestling belt either. I'm not that cool. Oh yeah! Oh, so
Speaker just blew.
Yeah, you would just clip that one.
I'm gonna hold it right here for the rest of the time.
Okay. So continuing at 5:30, Electro Voice. Mike Dussault and the gang are going to show off some of the different models of sound, give you advice on how to run your business, how to run better sound and improve your own business. And that's going to go from 5:30 to about 6:45. The guys from DigiGames are going to be bringing out all kinds of fun game show stuff where you can win yourself a trip to next year's show, courtesy of DigiGames. Rob Johnson, the gang, are always, I'm saying this, creative and have fun with it. It was a neat event last year. I was really excited about how that went together. And then Monday night ends from 9 p.m. till whenever with the PVDJ takeover. We have been taking applications for the last couple of weeks, actually the last month or so, of DJs that want to perform during it. Those DJs are going to be announced soon, and probably the next week or so. We got a bunch of them that came in at the last minute. So there'll be all kinds of fun stuff going with that. Omez Lighting is going to have some cool lights out there. It's all going to happen outside of the pool area of the Tropicana. The Pioneer DJs and then PV handling all the sound. It'll be a really neat event.
And I just want to interject something. The best way to like get all that is to stay at the host hotel. I mean, it's an awesome hotel. It's a DoubleTree technically by Hilton. So it's got Hilton beds and it's I actually vacationed there and everything too, but it's awesome. And that's the best way. If you're staying someplace else right now, you still got time to cancel your room and book underneath the Mobile Beat Las Vegas room block, which you could tell them when you call and book. But that's the best way to get everything with all this great stuff happening.
And they have a really nice brunch there as well.
Yeah, they do.
And if you're staying at the Riviera, yeah.
Bring your tent.
and
I'm sure there's others staying at the Riviera as well.
Yeah. Just a note, I mean, that was the one thing that we wanted to do a year earlier, but we had to stay around with the Riviera. We had a contract. We kept with it, and we kept stuff going with them for the 1 year. And that was the one thing that came out as real negative about last year's show. It was like the only negative about the show. Well, that's now been fixed, and we're going way past that.
Yeah.
So now I'll be the only negative of the show.
Yeah.
The Tropicana, because it DoubleTree does have the chocolate chip cookies, but you don't get them on check-in. You get a coupon that you have to take down to the snack bar, I believe. So don't forget it, the coupon when you check in.
It's an extra coupon. Mike has them.
Since we're talking about the hotel, I mean, it's in a really nice location as well, where a lot of that action is happening. People always said, "Oh my gosh, I got to walk all the way to the other side of the strip, or I got to take a taxi."
Yep.
It's all right there. And I mean, again, you got a beautiful host hotel, but all of the nightlife is right there as well. So you got a whole bunch of shows to go to.
MGM is right across the street, and from MGM, you could take the monorail system anywhere practically.
And if you talk about nightlife and nightclubs, you literally from the biggest and best nightclub of the world, you are probably in your hotel room about 500 feet from Hakkasan.
And it doesn't smell like urine.
Yeah.
Well, I think for the guys,
we used to be 1,000 feet from Circus, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's true.
If you weren't there last year, you can check out. I think we posted on the Mobile Beat page, Ryan. I know it's on the SCE event group page on YouTube, but you can actually see the video content from the Night of Legends event that we did in the Havana room, which is where the Digi Games will be this year. We're not doing the nightlife party there this year, but the experience when people walked into the Trop and they actually went up the escalator and they walked up to where the Havana room was. I mean, people that have never been there before were like in awe of how nice the property was. And
it was a very nice tease of what we had in store for them the next year.
And there's gonna be a whole lot of that for this coming year. We got a lot of good stuff in store.
Ryan, tell us about Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay. Just announced literally earlier today or over this weekend, the Scratch DJ Academy is on Tuesday and Wednesday morning. It's going to be a small format stuff, so there's only going to be 25, maybe 50 people in there if we do it upright. But Scratch DJ Academy is going to be doing the Mixed Skills Masterclass starting from 8 to 12 in the morning. And it does wrap up before our big keynotes of each day. So you want to check out more information on that at the mobilebeatlasvegas.com site. A couple sponsored seminars right now, the Mobile App Pros Workshop and American DJ are scheduled in there. Actually, I just see a typo that I got fixed. Okay. And the guys from DJ Trivia are going to have sponsored seminars that morning. We move on to Justin Miller talking about some marketing strategies, some quick secrets from Matt Martindale, the guys from Sparkle Factor. I know Jake's excited about these guys. It's going to be a very interesting perspective on some interactiveness on things. So we'll see what the guys from Canada come down and do with us, and what we're going to do with those crazy Canadians. Mitch Taylor, How to Roar into 2016 and Beyond, is from about 11 to 11:45. And then Party Rocking with Red Foo. Yes, during my interview with Red Foo, I asked him afterwards if he was interested in performing at our show. And he said, yeah, but I want to do a seminar. It's like, okay. So he's going to talk about how he does this interactiveness with his whole crowd, the whole Party Rockin' crew, in a seminar format. Chavez DJ, I assume Jeremy's going to be doing some stuff there. Jeremy, you want to tell us a little bit about what you've covered in these workshops before?
Yeah, so this one's going to be a little bit different. This is actually going to be some brand new content, which I'm excited about. One of the things that we're going to do is show you how we create the experience, but we're going to use the lighting for a production style event like they will see live at the show. But they're also going to be able to utilize those same fixtures and use those at an entry-level DJ. So it's going to kind of show you the flexibility of these fixtures that we're using for the stage production. So that way people aren't like, oh my gosh, I'll never be able to use something like that. And I think, again, that's going to be the enticing thing, is because we'll be able to say, yes, you can use it like this, but if you're a mobile DJ, you can also use it like this. It doesn't matter if you know how to do DMX, if you don't know how to do DMX, but it's going to be for all levels of entertainers. And we're actually going to be playing off of the party rocking, hyping your crowd and things like that. We're going to show you how to hype your crowd with lighting as well. So it's going to be a fun seminar. Again, first time we've ever done this one, brand new content.
Cool. At the same time as that Chevet DJ workshop is happening, there are going to be some other sponsored seminars and workshops going on, including the ADJA, QSC, and Trivia Punch, plus the demo rooms. The space off the side of the floor is going to be open at that time. 2 to 7 o'clock, the exhibit floor opens, and then 9 to 11 o'clock at night, Party Rock at MBLV20 with Red Foo, Vic, and Jason Jani. Jason, you want to tell us a little bit about what you've got planned as part of your attack on Tuesday night?
Oh, that's a super dope secret surprise I got coming up. All I know is we want to elevate from where we were last year. Last year it got a lot of love for kind of like the whole show with Jazzy Jeff and Sir Mix-a-Lot. So this year we're gonna do it up big. It's gonna be different.
And it's on the big stage that we're doing all the seminars instead of in the smaller format of the club.
Right. So we're not going to go into the Havana room, which kind of space was a little limited. Sound was kind of a little tricky and whatnot. We're bringing it into the main stage. We're going to use EV sound, Chauvet lighting, our lighting designer, Jer. Jake's going to be pulling it all together, and we are going to rock. And I'm excited to be able to share the stage with Vic and Red Foo. I mean, LMFAO. It's going to be sick. So I guess expect the unexpected. We're going to have a lot of fun, and it's going to set up an awesome evening for everyone to enjoy.
I think that's going to be one of the cool things this year with the concert or the night event going on, is people will see the stage in a production setup, but then they will also see it in a performance aspect. So seeing the performers with Jason, you'll see him sing throughout the day, but Red Foo, as he's performing, again, the awesome sound that we have from EV, the lighting with Chauvet DJ, seeing it in 2 different aspects, in a production level and also in a performance level. So I think that's going to be a really cool fit this year.
Mike, I want to pull you back into the conversation a little bit here. You're not getting enough FaceTime on things. The party scene of things used to be. Tell people about kind of what it was going back through the first 10 years and kind of how we transformed it over the most recent 10 years into what it is now.
Well, I think if anybody remembers back prior to 2006, we evolved a concept called the DJ All-Stars, which was, to be honest, kind of a takeoff on another show who and I won't say anything specific here, but would have this contest at the event, which created a DJ of the year, which I could never understand how a DJ of the year could be created in 20 minutes or less on a 5-minute skit. So I said, well, we're never going to do anything like that based on a 5-minute performance. So we'll just call them DJ All-Stars. So if they're good, they're good. If they're bad, they're bad. But they just went up there and did their shtick. That lasted for a long time. And a lot of people liked it because it was one of the opportunities to actually see something. When you talk about takeaways, I mean, somebody would go out there and show something that somebody could use at their own event at some point. They weren't secrets because they wouldn't go out there. But there was no prizes or anything awarded. They did not become the DJ of the universe or anything like that. They just went on and somebody else came up and did it. And that went on for several years. But like everything else, it basically got old. So when Ryan came along and decided that he wanted to change things into a live entertainment thing, I thought he was crazy, but I said, okay, fine. It's like, go for it. It's been fun. The first one was Chubby Checker, which was quite an interesting experience. And over the years, we've had a lot of, for obvious reasons, we get not the top tier of entertainers out there, but some interesting apps have come along that we've experienced with.
I think the one that I remember the most is the Village People and Warrant. And Jake can, I think, speak to Speakers Blown during the Warrant portion of the show. But yeah, we rocked the top of the rib pretty good.
I was thinking more of Coolio.
Oh yeah, Coolio was interesting. Let's just call it that.
See, now these are the stories that we were trying to talk about earlier. You know, those behind-the-scenes stories that most people don't know, and it changes your whole view of these performers.
Coolio, I think, borrowed Jake's room for a while. I remember having to go up there and open a door so the cloud would come out, if I remember correctly.
He was wearing a Tony the Tiger Kellogg's jacket.
You have a photo with him with that
and
jacket.
He had it zipped up a lot of times.
I've got his sunglasses. I actually have his sunglasses still. He left them on the stage.
You should actually wear those sunglasses and the belt this year. If you could do that, it would make.
I would look like Glacier from American Gladiators, circa like 1991. Oh, by the way, Ryan, I think there is a question in the chat room. Scratch DJ Academy. How does one procure a spot in that?
We're still working on that. I mean, the response, I expected a good response from it. I didn't expect people begging me saying, I need to sign up all 6 of my people to get in those slots. I didn't expect it to go this crazy. I'm thrilled that people are that excited about it. I'll have something out probably after I get back from NAMM, about a week from now, showing how we're going to coordinate those. But there's basically going to be 25 or 50 slots. We might end up putting 2 sets of people on each station so we get more people in there. So there's really going to be about 200 slots to work with. So I'll work with that. The key is that if there's a seminar that you are not as excited about on Tuesday or Wednesday morning, that you be able to drop out and go to one of those. But it looks like we're definitely going to be expanding the Scratch DJ Academy in future years because of the excitement over it. So
about Wednesday. Tell us about Wednesday.
Wednesday. Scratch stuff starts up again in the morning. Couple sponsored workshops, including rentarcadeparty.com and Rob Peters' Bubble Parties. And then our buddy Bill Herman steps up to the stage again. Have you guys talked about the MCs for the weekend? I guess
we have not. No, we haven't.
Okay. Just to do a little bit of a rewind, we're having 4 different MCs. Where last year it was Bill and Jason. We're bringing back 4 different MCs during the week. We're going to be starting out, if I remember correctly, with Bill Herman. Is that right, Jake?
Yep. We're going to be starting off Monday with Bill Herman.
Okay. And Jimmy Johnson next?
Tuesday is John Roz. So John Roz. And then Wednesday is Jimmy Johnson. And then, of course, we have our other participant in the chat here, Michael Buonaccorso, is going to be wrapping up on day 4. So
the goal is to honor all of our past MCs. I mean, yes, we took things through the roof with last year with Bill and Jason. So we wanted to bring them back and go through the previous MCs of the show and then end it all with kind of Mike's big time. Mike has been involved in this show, obviously, since the beginning, revolutionized what the DJ industry experiences in trade shows. And we wanted to give some extra honor on the last day of his 20th show.
Well, thanks.
So let's see, continuing on with stuff, but what brought that in my mind was Bill Herman is speaking, followed by Bob Lindquist, Mike's former partner in starting Mobile back in 91, Tom Hybeck, and then coming up at noon, Mr. John Taffer. I know it's gotten a lot of people excited about the show. Anybody else want to speak up to about John? I mean, I'm extremely excited about seeing him there.
I think, I kind of talked about, even if you look at last year, when people were like, well, what am I going to learn from can't think of his name right now.
Penn Jillette.
Penn Jillette, yeah. What am I going to learn from Penn Jillette? Again, you take what you get. And if you don't wrap your mind around the message that they're giving you and implement that in your own business, you're not taking the right angle at these conferences. And I think Taffer's going to be the same way. I mean, he's going to inspire people to reevaluate their bar and what he does in their restaurants. I mean, think about your DJ business and doing that with your business. That, I think, is the fire that he's going to bring to this.
The nightlife and the hospitality world, they're so closely intertwined with the social and private event sector. And I mean, someone that he hosts the bar and nightclub show in Las Vegas, which is like the largest show for that industry in Las Vegas, right? Like, I mean, he's so connected and he's a wealth of knowledge and he's passionate for sure. And
if you look at like how he started off in the early 80s, and he went through, that whole Sunset Strip glam. He actually managed the Troubadour and everything in the 1980s. So that's how that he launched bands like Black Flag and other people like that, Red Hot Chili Peppers and stuff played with him. And he was instrumental in using bands like that, using live entertainment, using DJs to produce sales for the bar. So especially even if you're only interested in the bar rescue stuff, you're still going to come out with awesome knowledge, at least, hear a very entertaining speech or a very entertaining seminar from a guy who has really done a lot on the business with a lot of passion.
Yeah, great job lining him up, Ryan.
Yeah, the big concept on him, and Jake Klein was there with me a couple months ago. We shot a promotional video on it, and we talked a little bit more about this. Is the whole concept on marketing the DJ experience, just like how when you get a beer, you can buy a beer for $1.50 at home or however how much beer costs. You can pay $3 to buy it at a cheap bar during happy hour. You can pay $6 to buy it at a wedding reception, or you can pay $15 to buy it when you're at Uber Club in Las Vegas. It's the experience. Same thing with the DJ. You can play YMCA through a jukebox. You can play it through an iPod. You can play it through an average DJ, and you can play it through an Uber DJ, Jason Jani.
I don't think he drives a car while he DJs. That'd be an Uber DJ.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So the demo rooms open up at 1:00. Some more workshops, Bridal Association of America, Singo, and others, and the exhibit floor is open from 2 to 6. As of now, there's nothing planned for Wednesday night. We are working on some other stuff, hopefully have on Wednesday night, but that's kind of traditionally been the night that everybody goes out and hits the town. Enjoy Las Vegas with friends you met earlier in the week.
Very cool. So we get down to the last day, but before you get there, Ryan, we missed the 2 morning sessions for those early risers there.
Oh yeah, and that was what I wanted to talk about.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll get there before we do the final, because our last day I think is going to be the schedule on the last day is just completely awesome. So I want to keep that together. But
okay.
We're going to be in the buffet area. Is that correct?
Yes.
So in the Tropicana buffet area, we're going to be having at 7 a.m. Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to have a mornings with DJ and TV. And we've got 2 guests that'll be coming in. We have Arnaldo Offerman is coming in to talk about school dances. And then I've got Ron Ruth, who's going to be coming in and talking about making your weddings an exceptional event. And if you watched last night a little bit, you got a sample of what we're going to be talking about. But it's going to be a morning session from about 7 to about 7:45, so that way you're ready to go at 8 o'clock to your next thing. You grab a little breakfast, sit down. We're going to talk about some different things. Then we're going to have some question and answer time. If you do school dances, Arnaldo's the guy. You want to be able to bounce questions up because this guy lives for school dances. If you do weddings, Ron's the guy. He's got a passion for weddings and he's got a knowledge for weddings. So it'll be 2 early morning sessions for those of you who are the early risers.
And yeah, I mean, the buffet at the Tropicana is absolutely fantastic.
It's isn't it the Beach Cafe, Ryan? Not the buffet, the Beach Cafe.
The Beach Cafe goes to a breakfast buffet each morning there. Oh. And we have a set-aside area where this is all going to happen. And I know John's working on getting a live stream for those of you that aren't going to make it to the show so that people can check out what's going on with it. It'll be a neat event. It's something we pitched the Tropicana on, and they said, yeah, let's go ahead and try it. So it's something to enjoy. And if you're up that early, please come join us.
For sure. Let's get to Thursday. Thursday is, looking at the schedule, this is a schedule that I think is loaded. I mean, it's good across the board, but really Thursday is a day that there's a lot of content.
Yes, no doubt about it. Starting out with, Randy Bartlett. As Mike said, he's been around since the beginning in some form. He started speaking at the shows, 15 years ago or so, Mike? How far back do we go on Randy?
I would say roughly about that long.
Do you remember, Randy said something to me about how he's been pitching you on this concept in this seminar for a while now. Can you give us any beef on that?
Randy's always pitching me on something.
I think that's fair.
Well,
actually, I'm thinking it was prior. Randy spoke, it had to be in the 90s because he was in Orlando in 2000. So that was like, we brought people into Orlando who had been successful in Las Vegas. So Randy has probably started about 98.
Part of the
I would
second or
say.
third show at the Tropicana, but back in the days of the Worth movement and kicking everything up there.
Well, the thing is, what he pitches me at is because I'm very careful. It's like, listen, Randy, I know you do speak other places. I want something unique here. So that's the only thing that he usually says. This is why this is unique, which I seek in all the speakers. We don't like reruns.
Exactly. So we don't want to be Nick at Night. We want to put it out there first time for everybody. And they have hot new material. And that's something that we do require of our presenters. So then Jason Spencer's talking about Profit First. David Lewis is coming to us with if you teach them, they will book. He's got a neat concept of what he does with grooms workshops down in Hawaii that's absolutely fantastic. George Lopez spoke at the show starting, 12, 15 years ago. We brought him back, talked about follow-ups. Jim Cerrone, perfect host, another person that's kind of grown up in the mobile beat scene. And then we're wrapping it up with high standards, and I emphasize the word high standards, big results with Todd Mitchum. How do we describe Todd Mitchum? An energetic, crazy guy that was in the DJ scene 10, 15 years ago with us and has made a career out of, let's say, he's popular in Colorado. He's popular in a couple other states that have legalized marijuana. Let's call it that.
I think one of the reasons that we have, I would say one of the strongest program lineups on Thursday is because we don't want anybody to think because there are no exhibits that day, oh, the show is over. No, it isn't over. It's just kicking up to like a really good day. So
it's a fantastic day. We moved to having 2 exhibit 4 days and doing this, wrapping the seminars into all 4 days and having a gangbuster event. I mean, sometimes people used to come in on Tuesdays and leave Wednesday night or Thursday. No, it's really a 4-day experience we're working with.
For sure. And you having Todd at the very end, for those who aren't familiar with Todd, yes, is out of the DJ industry pretty much right now, but he is there's a handful of people I would say that really have been instrumental in really helping people improve their performances, improve their shows. Randy Bartlett's one, and I would put Todd Mitchum at that level of being able to teach skills that you can use at your shows and to teach you the thought process behind using those skills at your shows. So I think that's a great idea, having Todd as an anchor, because he's really going to end the show in a big way. That's really going to give you tools. And it's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, literally that Thursday is St. Patrick's Day. For those of you DJs that are with us in Vegas, St. Patty's Day in Vegas will definitely be interesting.
It's also Spring Break 98.
98.
No, not really 98, but it's spring break.
It is spring break for a lot of colleges. Yeah, we've been noticing our airfare and certain days are because of that. Our prices are different.
So one of the things as we go into the end of the show, we have a really exciting ending that we're collaborating. So again, I mean, this is a show you're not going to want to get out of your seat for. I mean, you might want to get a bladder bag or whatever those things are.
A catheter.
Yeah, there you go. You're not going to want to get out.
We don't want to leave this place smelling like the old one.
Yeah. But yeah, the ending of the show we're excited about. You know, we're here to collaborate on these type of projects. We think it's going to be a blast. It's going to be great.
You know, last year when we ended the show, I don't think anyone had any concept of what we were going to collectively come up with. And when we put it out there, like, it was really well received. I mean, there was people that were just totally like hit from the side, unexpected. And we're going to do our very best to do something really special for the end of this. This is an incredible event, right? This is the 20th show, 25th anniversary of the magazine. We got to go big, and we're going to go big. And it's going to be something that no one really is going to want to miss, especially the first time. You always want to look back to the first time and say, dude, I remember when it happened and whatever.
I was there, man.
Yeah.
Your first time at anything is special. Come out and enjoy it with us.
But I'm man, that.
Oh, okay.
We can edit that out, right?
Yeah, no, it's not like we're live or anything, so we're good.
Yeah, talking memories of the past and stuff. I remember I've been to every show and, involved in planning the last 10 years worth of them. And I still remember that first show. I mean, it was overload of people, triple the amount of people showed up they expected to. We were breaking fire code. DJ set off fire alarms with fog machines. I mean, that's all we ever do with fog machines. game show going on out in the outdoor area. There's some DJ spinning by the elevator. I had some kind of workshop upstairs talk about the internet, or I had my workshop going on upstairs, but my seminar talked about the internet and the 5 million people that were on it at the time or something like that. Well, we're up to 5 billion now. I think we need to release some more footage of that wonderful, interesting seminars from the first year show. So I'll see if I'll send them over to you, John, and we can get it out. It's very interesting. Let's call it that.
That would, especially when you're talking tech and such, how that has evolved and changed.
And this new MP3 thing where you can carry 2,000 songs on a hard drive. It's cool.
Hard drive this spec. Well, guys, we are just about to our hour limit here tonight. If we want to send some final thoughts, let's kind of go around and put some final thoughts to it and wrap things up. Mike,
let's start with somebody else. I have no idea what I'm going to say.
Mike, if we were going to send that final thought for folks who are kind of on the edge, what would you tell them?
Well, I'd say this is going to be well worth their time out there, and there's going to be a lot of things that are going to happen this year that we will top last year. And while I'm at it, I have my second edition of the book that is coming out, which encompasses the things that have happened in the last 5 years since I wrote the original book, which is very interesting. So there'll be a limited amount of the second edition of the DJ story, A Different Spin, that encompasses exactly how we got here.
Very nice. I did not know you were coming out with a second edition.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very nice. Very nice. Who else?
Let's go with you three guys. So I still don't know what I'm going to say.
Go ahead.
Share
Jeremy.
some thoughts, guys, for the person who's on the teetering. Should they not?
If they're still in that guessing game of if they should go or not, they probably already committed that they're not going. I think, again, you have to take that leap. You have to make that step. And if you're saying that you really want this to be a business and you really want to make your business better, you got to take that leap. And again, this is the show that is going to inspire you in all different angles, whether it be education, communication with other people across the country, or just, again, inspiration with what's going on the stage and, with what Jason's doing and what we're doing with Chauvet DJ, Electro Voice, and what they do with their audio. I think it's going to be the ultimate experience that you're going to want to hit up this year.
Cool.
There's a couple things. Number one, if you're part-time and you're considering full-time, then if you keep putting it off and don't ever make that step towards doing it, this is a big step towards doing that. So if you're part-time, you're thinking about full-time, going full-time, being in the same room, talking with people, being with people of your like mindset, that's one thing that'll probably push you over the edge. And the other thing is, if you're thinking about, I can't leave security, my daytime job, or I can't do anything like that, the only way you're going to get better, the only way you're actually going to do it is if you put yourself in that pressure situation and do it. So this is a good opportunity to quit procrastinating and to come out and join us and to learn something.
Yeah, in this business, you truly get what you put in, right? And no one just automatically becomes a great DJ, a great event host, a great MC. You got to put the time in. You got to spend your time in the business. And I don't think there's any the opportunity that presents itself for the cost. Consider the flight, consider the airfare, consider the transfers, consider the hotel, consider the food, consider the price of admission. But what you can gain from that is so far beyond that. And it doesn't matter who you are and what you do and where you're at in this industry, new to the game, or you've been around for 30 years, there's always something to learn. And it's going to be an awesome opportunity. And I look forward to meeting as many first-timers as possible. So if you're a first-timer, I don't care what I'm doing, come up, give me a shot in the elbow and the shot in the side, send me a text message.
Not when he's on stage,
say hello.
If it's money that's holding you back and you're a part-timer especially, why don't you do yourself a favor and invest your tax return and come out and grow your business?
I thought Jake was going to say he was going to pay for it. But that's a great idea too.
Yeah, Plan B was okay too, I guess.
I guess to bring everything back on that exact area, I mean, if you're not going to be there, if you're still considering it or need that extra boost to go over it, I'm out most of this week going off to a conference. I'll get to see John at and everything at NAMM out in Los Angeles. But next week, I'll be in the office all week. Call me. Send any of us emails. My email address, rb@mobilebeat.com. Call the office, 515-986-3344, extension 300. Leave me a message. I'll call you, talk to you. I'm so proud of what we put together. And heck, I don't even know what these guys have been working on for the last 8 hours back at the office.
You should see your office, Ryan. You should see your office.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was blown away with last year's results because I knew about a third of what was going to happen. I knew where I had to be, what I had to do, but that was it. And I was blown away by it. And this year's going to go way beyond that, that I'm so proud of what has been put together that I want everything to happen, and I want you to see it. So if you're considering going, call me, email me, or just go there and register and get your pass.
So, John, hold on. Now, we've all kind of talked a little bit. You didn't get to tell us what you're looking forward to coming to this show.
Yeah, John.
Ooh,
What
I'm on the spot.
What I'm looking forward to is, and I've said this with shows across the board, and Mobile Beat is one of my favorites because it is that family reunion time for me. I get to go see friends that I only see once or maybe twice a year in person. And nowadays it's not as often because I don't get to all the shows like I used to. So it's a time for me to come and see you guys. It's a time for me to go see all of my friends that I've met from around the country. It's also a great time to see people who are seeing us on these chats, and they can come up and they can give us feedback. Telling us what they like, what they don't like, and things, and that's just all that stuff is what I'm looking forward to. And then I'm going to be able to go and sit in some seminars and learn some things, and I'm going to be able to go and enjoy and have some fun and such here in person.
We didn't even really talk about the show floor at all. I mean, that's a
Oh,
whole
wow.
other level. Come on, Ryan. Let's talk about that.
I'll give you the quick lowdown. I mean, you can check out all the exhibitors through the app and see exactly how the show floor is laid out. But it is the place to see the new DJ gear, to see all the new things that are out there, and also catch up on other services that you want to consider using as part of your business. I mean, there's going to be some brand new companies there. There's going to be some established companies that have been around forever. Companies that had a booth at the first Mobile Beat show going way back. They're also, just so you know, they're the ones that pay most of the bills on this stuff. I mean, yes, you're paying $200 and some for a pass to the show, but if we didn't have the exhibitors to be able to produce what we're doing for you guys, we're talking more of a probably $600 tab because the exhibitors really take care of stuff. Chevet DJ that Jeremy works with. EV that Jason's working with a ton. All the other exhibitors, American DJ, Chevet, all these people take care of everything that's involved in the show. So do me a favor when you're there, thank them for their support of the industry. And if you're going to purchase gear, purchase it from the companies that are there. We really appreciate that.
Cool. I have one last question, and then we're going to wrap things up. Jason, they want to know when you're going to do a seminar.
Ooh.
And I think we'll just leave that.
Yeah. Ryan and I are going to talk about that.
I guess that's a breakfast conversation tomorrow. So
yeah,
we will make a grand announcement of the mega 3-week long workshop that he's going to run at Mobile Beat Vegas 21.
I'm there.
I can tell you this. I think I'm going to help put together some parts of the Red Foo seminar. I can tell you that. So I will be involved with that, kind of like rather than just playing the music. I will be an actual part of that.
Cool.
Of that part of the show.
Great.
We can let that out of the bag, right, Ryan?
That's good enough of a tease for now. We've got steps up. I know you're not very outgoing. You don't want to speak in front of a crowd, so we're gonna have to build you up to presenting. Yeah.
He's so shy.
He's very social media illiterate as well.
But he's got belts.
Okay, guys, I think that covers it. Doesn't it?
I think that does. That wraps things up. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us tonight and sharing about the show. I'm excited coming up here in March. For those of you watching, the link is in the description, but you can go out to mobilebeatlasvegas.com, buy your passes. You can go to get the rooms reserved. You can go and check out the other seminars that are going on before and after, and of course, the main schedule is all there. Once again, guys, thank you very much for being on with me tonight.
Thanks, guys.
See you in March.
See ya.
This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News.
I love it when I'm on with you, John.
Thank you much, guys. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV. Good night.